Right, good evening and welcome. Now, you probably can tell this is something new. Or something new has happened to us, and we're now on patch 1.45. It came out earlier on today. I was, right, good evening. A little bit waylaid. Now, let me just, the audio, there we go. Right, let's get back in. Now, this is the Stuart bundle pack. I bought it earlier on. It was like €3 or something like that. And apparently, by getting this, it enables me to get into the tank stuff. Now, there's a lot of new stuff in it. Obviously, all of the American tanks have just been added. And along with them, there's been some other aircraft as well, and other changes. Now, we've got new aircraft-wise. There's this little jet down here called the Banshee. I'm interested to see what this is all about, because it's already started to cause controversy, even though obviously it wasn't in game before today. As you can see, this is realistic battle ratings. It's got a battle rating of 6.7. That's what's causing the controversy. It's basically an aircraft before the Panther in the tech tree. As you can see, it's much cheaper to actually research, as far as I'm aware. And it appears to be quite a little bit more, or a little bit less rather, as far as lines go, if you consider what it is and how much it actually can do in game. Now, if you just look at this, for example, he's got 4 cannon for a start. No, practice rounds. Now that's interesting. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh no, there we go. See, why? What? You why do this, Gaijin? It's just retarded. You're basically making yourselves look stupid. This is just idiotic. Default ammo, yeah, that's normal. To be honest, I don't mind using default ammo on this aircraft. That looks pretty good. Universal ammo, which is almost the same. That's the same mix of kind of shells. Yeah, go to ground targets. Bearing in mind you're going to be shooting at ground targets with this if you're going to be obviously taking the ammo. It's got similar ammo to the default and the universal, but it also gets practice rounds. Why would you put practice rounds in that kind of situation? You're going after enemy targets, you're not going after dummies, which is what practice rounds are for. It makes no sense. Yeah, that's a good job, Gaijin. Anyway, let's have a look at the next ammo, and here it is again. A practice shell with stealth attack. So you're going to fly up behind someone, to shoot them down with practice rounds in your gun. No, I think not. I think you need to stop being silly, Gaijin, otherwise you are going to get mocked some more. Let's have a quick look at the Sabre. Saber's still got practice rounds in the default ammo. And let's see, let's just have a quick look. But no practice rounds in the rest of the ammunition. Now, the logic, the logic void, I should say, is quite apparent there. I mean, that's top tier aircraft, obviously, so you'd expect it to be pretty good, but it gets default practice rounds in its default belt, rather. This aircraft here, that's not top tier. Like I say, this one's top tier. That's battle rating 9.0 tier 5. That is the top of the American tree. There is no other aircraft that is higher. Even the Panther only has battle rating of 8.7. If you look at this aircraft, the Banshee, that's got a battle rating of 6.7, and it's not, well, it's about 100 miles an hour slower, I suppose, than the top Sabre, but with the battle rating of 6.7, it doesn't need that kind of speed. That's going to really mess a lot of stuff up at that battle rating, and I wouldn't be surprised if it stays at that battle rating. Now then, I know that there is some more vehicles that have been released, so let's have a quick look through and see what we've got. I know this is a new one. No, that's not going to work. Preview, okay. This is the Tiger P, or Porsche variant. It's the Tiger 1, not the Tiger 2. Don't get them confused. There was only a few of these actually made, and I think they were used as command tanks, which is what they've actually labelled it up as in World War II. It was basically a failed, well, not necessarily failed design, but it was a much more complicated design than the actual Tiger. The Tiger 1 was an actual really complicated design. requiring a lot of maintenance and construction elements as well. Now this one, like I say, was even more complicated. Basically, Porsche was one of the top designers for Germany with regards to making tanks, and he had a lot of innovative ideas, but a lot of them were also quite expensive, to coin a phrase, I suppose. He used things like electrical transmission, petrol petrol engines, and at the time, although Germany at the time, when he was doing the early designs, they were on top, so they could kind of afford to do things like that. Towards the end of the war, they obviously couldn't, but he was still doing crazy designs. I mean, he basically did the obviously Tiger II Porsche turret variant, and he did this. There were quite a lot of other tanks he messed around with as well. The Elephant is one of his. The Elephant, actually, or Ferdinand as it's called. Ferdinand is actually Porsche's first name, or was his first name rather. That was based on these hulls. There was about 85, I think, converted to Ferdinand hulls, or to Ferdinand's rather. And with that, they were used as tank destroyers or assault guns. The really kind of ironic thing being that they didn't actually have any machine guns on the first few models, so they were quite defenseless when it came down to attacking or being attacked by infantry. Anyway, that is the Tiger P Porsche variant. Or Tiger 1 rather. Anyway, let's get back to the tech tree and just have a look, see what else we've got here. I don't think there was any other tanks that they've added in. I'm just checking there. Possibly that one actually, J1. That was one of the latter versions of the Panther 3. There should actually be... yeah, there is actually. There we go. But yeah, I don't see anything else new there. No other new premiums. No. Okay, let's go check out the air tree. Don't think there's anything new in here that I've seen, because I did actually check this earlier on, but yeah, there's nothing new that I can actually research anyway, so we'll move on to the next station. Which is the Russians. Now, the Russians have added a new tank at least, which is this one here. I will just and this one actually as well. That's a Sherman, the 76 mil gun armed variant. I think that was actually I'll just check, but I don't think it'll tell me. No, I'm not going to give you a date on that, but I'm guessing. Well, actually, yeah, I will give you a date on that. I'd say probably possibly 1943, late to mid 1943, maybe a little bit later, but not much. The SMK, on the other hand, this was a prototype. Now, I am obviously interested in getting this. I will be getting it on Friday, I think. But let me just show you what the deal is with this tank, because it's another one of the multi-turreted type of tanks that the Russians developed. This was actually, well, although this was a failure, it also brought about some success in that the hull, if you can see that, and actually I think it's the turret as well, that turret and maybe even that turret, they were all used on future models of other tanks. The hull itself, that you could possibly see, I mean you can probably see the actual resemblance, but that in itself was shortened down a little bit, I believe, and used as a KV on the KV series of tanks. That turret as well, that, if that's again, it's a familiar shape. That I believe was used on the KV-1 turret, on the initial tank, and this turret here I think was used on the BT-7. I could be mistaken with that one, but I think it was used on the BT-7 as well. But yeah, as I say, although it was a failure as an actual tank because it was just so unwieldy, it did actually help with development of the future Russian vehicles. Anyway, let's get on to the next one, or the next vehicle rather, and see what we've got. I don't think there's anything else down here that I've seen come into the game. Aircraft wise, again, I don't think the Russians have actually had much, if anything. They might have had, yeah, there's a new I-16 in there. Surprise, surprise. Like, what do we really need anymore? Um, you know, it's a little bit silly, but that's the way the Gaijin do things. I mean, there's, I'll put it this way. You've got 4 I-16s there, okay? There's another one there, so that's 5. And these are non-premium. And there's another one there, which is a premium. So you've got 6 variants of the Chika in-game already. Well, actually 5 before today, 6 now. And yeah, there won't be that much difference between them as far as performance goes, I imagine, because they're all in the same tier bracket. If there was a massive, you know, say for example, one of these variants of Chikas was down here, then yeah, you'd know that something was going off with the performance, but it was a pre-World War II design. Its evolutionary peak was pretty much reached when they did this, which is added 2 20mm cannons to it and removed 2 machine guns instead. That was pretty much the definitive variant, I suppose, of the Ice Shack, although that was still vastly outclassed by later German designs like the 109 F4 and even the Emil, the E3, that would pretty much deal with one of these quite easily. Right, let's move on to the British. Now, the British, I know for a fact, have got something quite new. This chap here, new version of the Cambre. This one has cannon, so that actually has guns, which is a bit of an unusual move for Gaijin to actually now do something intelligent or logical, but you know, you can only hope they're going to do more of it, I suppose. Right, on to the Japanese. Japanese have got 2 new aircraft, the Kai-43 cannon variant, which has got 2 cannon and 300 rounds, and that's a tier 3 with a battle rate of 4.3. Now that battle rate is quite high. That basically means that it's in Ki-84 territory, which is this one. And again, it's, yeah, what's going off there? Why? It's got 2 cannon. 2, not 4. That's got 4 cannon. Well, actually, no, sorry, 2 cannon and 2 machine guns. That doesn't have that. It might be maneuverable, but without the additional firepower that has, that's basically like an LA-5. An LA-5, just check, has more ammo, I believe. Yeah, 340 rounds, and has a battle rate of 2.7. So, I think this is also faster as well. Let me just double check. 360 miles an hour on that one, and 366 miles an hour on this one. So this one is slightly quicker, but that's a Ki-84. Ki-84s can't go very fast. I know that the LA-5 can go 400 miles an hour quite easily and pull out of the dive. This aircraft I'm not so sure about. And yeah, with that battle rate, it's going to face some tricky opponents, I'm pretty sure of that. Now then, this aircraft, the J2M3, that again is a new one. It's 420mm cannon, 800 rounds, so it's going to be fairly effective as far as firepower goes. Speed 404 miles an hour top end. That's interesting. It's actually slightly quicker than the Nick or M1K2, but it will be slower than the Shinden. Now, the K-84, obviously, I don't know if they're changing to the flight model for this, but this aircraft is still, in my opinion, overpowered at whatever tier you're using it or whatever battle rate you're using it. Now, the J2M3 has got battle rate of 5.0, so that's Mustang territory immediately. That means it's going to be fighting against Mustangs, at least as far as the Americans go. So, with Mustangs as its prime competitor, you kind of expect it to be fairly good. So, I'll have to check that out at some point and see how it does compare. It does have 2 on presets, so it could possibly carry bombs. Yep, 2 60-kilogram bombs. And let's just check this one as well. That's got a better bomb load for some reason. Bizarre. Let's go back to the British as well. I want to just check the bomb load on this, because I know, like I say, this carries cannon. It's got 4 20mm Hispanos in a gun pod underneath the belly of the aircraft. Oh, look, practice rounds have made another appearance. When are you going to learn Gaijin? When? Let's just double check. No more practice rounds in them. See, I mean, that makes sense. Well, it doesn't make sense, but it's at least a little bit more logical than some other aircraft that I'm not going to mention at the moment because I've already mentioned them. Let's see. Now, yeah, that is quite interesting. The bomb loadout. Basically, for having these extra cannon, 4 cannon, but bearing in mind 420mm Hispanos sat on the belly, it suffers very little loss of performance at gas, and also, and this is the big thing, doesn't really lose any capacity in bomb load. The normal Canberra can carry 6 1,000 pounders. This carries 5, and it's got the cannon as well. Straight away, that to me means that this aircraft is much more capable than the previous one. Now I'm kind of running a little bit late on time, so what I'm going to quickly do is just restart the stream, because that's